Good day, dear friends. I'm glad to see you on my channel. Let's start with the Kursk region. Fierce fighting continues in several areas. In the Glushkovsky district, Ukrainian forces are increasing their strikes on the crossings over the Seam River and on the settlements to the south of the river. Apparently, there will be at least attempts at an offensive by Ukrainian forces in this area in the near future. This is also indicated by reports of an increase in drone strikes on various targets in the region. In the Koronevsky district, fighting continues for Krasnoktyabrsskoye, which Ukrainian forces reached in the early days of the offensive, but were unable to secure. At the same time, the scale of the Ukrainian attacks in the vicinity of Snagosty is becoming clearer. As we suspected, Ukrainian forces have advanced through Apanasovka and occupied the area of the Deity Oktyabr, 10th October, for at least some time. Additionally, the Russian Ministry of Defense stated that a group of the enemy on two armored personnel carriers was destroyed near Skrilevka. There has been no significant concentration of Ukrainian forces observed in this area. Mechanized groups were noted in the vicinity of Zhuravli, but little information has surfaced regarding battles in the triangle of Durovka, Obshchi Kolodez, Kalinovo. In the Sudzhansky district, clashes are ongoing, but there are no reports of the liberation of settlements online. In the area of Russian Konopelki and in the settlement itself, a large group of forces was destroyed. Based on footage that has surfaced online, during a successful ambush and subsequent drone strikes, Ukrainian forces lost several units of armored vehicles and a significant number of infantry. However, there is no information about any cleansing operations in the village. In any case, Ukrainian forces suffered significant losses as a result of the relatively short battle. Attempts by Ukrainian forces to advance in the Kursk region continue to impact the fronts of the special military operation, particularly in the Pokrovsk direction. As a result of the recent relocation of Ukrainian armed forces units to the Sumy region, the operational crisis for Ukrainian forces in this area has significantly worsened. On the northern flank, Russian units are storming Hrdovka. At the moment, Russian troops are confidently holding the southeastern part of the settlement and are trying to advance into the center along Zavodskaya Street. To the south of the village, a part of the woods has been captured. To the southwest, Russian assault groups are advancing in the area of Krasny Yar and are engaged in battles for Kruty Yar. However, in recent days, there have been no objective control footage that could clarify the situation in this area. The capture of the aforementioned settlements will open the way for Russian forces to mine number 3, Novogrodovskaya, located on elevated ground, as well as to the western outskirts of Grodovka. At the Orlovka-Nikolaevka border, Russian troops have begun an offensive toward Novogrodovka and have successfully reached the southeastern outskirts of the city. Reports have emerged online of the presence of Russian troops at the first houses on the eastern side of Parkovaya Street. At the same time, Ukrainian media report that Russian forces have already established control over the neighborhoods of Kishlak and Shanghai. Further south of Novogrodovka, battles continue on the approaches to the Mikhailovka railway station, where the Kotlyarevskaya mine is located to the west. On the southern flank, Russian forces captured Tichy and began fighting on the outskirts of Kalinovo. Unconfirmed reports have emerged regarding the occupation of this settlement by Russian troops. Control over Kalinovo will allow Russian assault groups to commence an offensive on the positions of Ukrainian forces to the west of the Karlovsky Reservoir. In the Pokrovsky district, a chaotic evacuation of the local population continues, along with the closure of businesses. In Selidovo, the dismantling of ATMs is underway, shops are closing, and the distribution of humanitarian aid has ceased. In Pokrovsk itself, the Ministry of Internal Affairs Center was closed, with the nearest one now located in Kramatorsk. The operational crisis of the Ukrainian forces is starkly demonstrated by both the lack of organized resistance in populated areas and the rapid capture of key strongholds by Russian troops. All of this occurs against the backdrop of the enemy's shortage of infantry and support assets, as well as the low morale of its units. Nevertheless, in the near future, Russian troops are set to storm Novorodovka and Selidov, settlements with fairly dense urban development and industrial zones, for which Ukrainian forces will cling with all their might, attempting to hold back the advance of the Russian assault troops. That's all for now, friends. We remind you that our channel condemns any violence and calls on all parties to engage in immediate negotiations for a peaceful resolution of conflicts. Thank you for staying with us. Subscribe to our channel, like, and we wish you all the best.